everybody. We are going to kick off our first soapbox talk. I am excited to introduce to you Ken Chestek with Free and Fair Elections. Take it away.
Thank you. Okay, use the podium. I don't like. I can't stand behind a podium very long. It's been tough.
I'm gonna miss this. I'm sorry.
So, thank you all for coming to the soapbox session. I'm excited to be kicking us off here. My name is Ken Chestek, and in my day job, I'm a professor of law at the University of Wyoming College of Law. At night and on weekends, I become the chair of a group called Wyoming Promise. Wyoming Promise is, we were inspired by American Promise to work on trying to get dark money out of politics, free and fair elections. So we are working on getting an initiative on the ballot for November 2020, where we're going to ask the voters of Wyoming to say, yes, we want to amend the U.S. Constitution to declare that corporations are not people, money is not speech. So far, 19 states have asked Congress to do that, and we want to be the 20th. I mean, if we're the 21st because others get there first, that's great with me. But we want to be on that list of states calling for this amendment to the Constitution. You also probably know that there's another way besides having Congress propose the amendment. If enough states, if 2/3 of the states call for a convention of states, then we can get a convention will be called to draft the amendment, which is then proposed to the states. So we at Wyoming Promise don't have any confidence that Congress is going to do this. Congress, which is addicted to the money, does not want to overturn Citizens United and make it easier for us to tell them what to do. So we are trying to get an amendment on, we're trying to call for a convention of states, which bypasses Congress, and that's the way that we the people can actually take charge of our democracy. So you may not know that there are 5 states that have done that. Of the 19 states, 5 of them called for a convention of states. We need 34 states to do that. So we need a lot more states to do it. The problem we have is that just as big money and corporations own Congress, they've also captured many state legislatures. So it's really hard to get a state legislature to call for this amendment either. So that's why we have chosen to go the ballot initiative route. We're going to ask our voters to stand up and say, yes, we the people want to take charge of our democracy and overturn Citizens United when the legislature won't. We actually did try the legislative route last January, a year ago. We got actually farther than we thought we would. We got our bill through the Corporations Committee, approved onto the floor of the House, where the leadership of the legislature did not like it and put it at the bottom of the list and never got to vote on it. So it died for lack of time. So anyway, so we're trying to get an amendment on the ballot. So if we're successful, great, right? We the people are taking charge. There's a problem with that. It seems like, you know, we the people ought to have that power. That's the first 3 words of our Constitution are we the people. The problem is that Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution says that the convention gets called upon application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the states. And that's exactly the wording. Called by upon the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the states. We are not the legislature, are we? We should be, but we're not, right? So the legislature is not going to do it for us. Can the people step in and do it anyway? If we the people run the government, we should be able to, but the wording, the literal wording of the Constitution says the legislature must do this, not the people, the legislature. So, can we do this? I'm here to tell you as a law professor, yes, I think we can, and that's why if you have if in your state you can do initiatives, I encourage you to go this route anyway. Here's why I think we have a very solid legal argument as to why we the people can do it when the legislature won't. Because our legislature won't do it. Many legislatures won't do it. So how do we get past that word in the Constitution? Well, a number of years ago, in Arizona, the voters of Arizona, red state, said, we are sick and tired of gerrymandering. We don't like gerrymandering. We want our districts to be drawn fairly. So an initiative was put on the ballot, and the voters of Arizona adopted a bill that said we have this nonpartisan redistricting commission that will draw fair boundaries for our congressional districts. Great news. Gerrymandering in Arizona was made illegal by the voters. Great. But the problem there, again, was that the Constitution says congressional districts are drawn by legislatures. Same problem we have in Article 5. Different part of the Constitution, but same problem. So, guess what happened? The legislature literally sued the voters. They did. It was crazy. The legislature filed a lawsuit saying this bipartisan commission that you voters tried to foist on us is unconstitutional because the Constitution says the legislature does it, not you guys. So we get to pick you. You don't pick us, right? So the Arizona legislature literally sued the voters to say we have the power, you don't. It goes all the way to the Supreme Court. What do you think happened to the Supreme Court? Anybody know this?
Legislature?
That's what you would think. The Supreme Court of the United States said voters win. Voters are right. Voters get to pick their representatives, not the other way around. So this redistricting commission in Arizona is legal, according to this is a couple terms ago, I think 2015. A couple terms ago, the Arizona legislature loses and people rule. How does that help us? It's the same issue. The word legislature is in a different part of the Constitution, but it's the same point. The reason why the people won in the Arizona redistricting case was they wanted to do something, good government. They wanted better government than their legislature was giving them, so they took charge of it by a voter initiative. What are we doing in Wyoming? We think our legislature is not going to do what we need to have happen, a constitutional a convention to propose amendments. It's a good government measure, so we are going to use the Arizona redistricting case as justification. I think it's a perfect analogy. It's a very good analogy. We should be able to say we, the voters of Wyoming, have the power to call for this convention of states. So that's what we're up to. And if you have, in your states, if you have the ability to have an initiative, we need to get more states doing these initiatives, because if we rely on the state legislatures, the same thing's going to happen that would happen in Congress. They are addicted to the money too. They're captured by money, and they're not going to do it, so we have to take charge of it ourselves. So that's how we in Wyoming are trying to unrig the system, by taking charge. Thank you. Yeah.
Was it your Wyoming Supreme Court that ruled that way, or was that the Supreme Court?
United States Supreme Court.
Wow.
United States Supreme Court says Arizona voters have power.
What's the title of the case?
The Arizona legislature versus the Arizona Redistricting Commission. 2015 case. Yeah.
Our ballot initiative is easy to do in Wyoming, because in Florida, you basically have to have around $5 million to get enough signatures. They made the signatures so high, it takes about $5 million to get the signatures.
What's your percentage you need?
8, I think it's 8.
8%?
Yeah.
We need 15%. So it's not easy in Wyoming. Now, 15% of a smaller number.
Yeah.
And it's a much smaller state. It's the smallest state population-wise. So, yeah, but we have, it's very difficult to do. The last successful drive in Wyoming was 20 years ago. So it's really hard, but we're working on it. Any last questions? Yeah.
I worked on Prop 49 and Prop 59 in California, and it was interesting because so much of that hinged on what was going on in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I sat through the arguments at the state Supreme Court in California. It was very interesting, but they very methodically went through this process and challenged Prop 49 and Prop 49. And I could see the groundwork was being laid for other states. And they even went to the California Supreme Court and went, we're bringing court cases from other states into our, which I didn't realize you could do. Court cases from all across the country.
As persuasive authority, yeah.
Are settled. But they don't, they made, the Supreme Court had to, California Supreme Court had to weigh those.
Right.
Which I didn't realize, but they did allow that evidence in.
Right, it's persuasive authority, but in our case, if we get challenged, we're gonna get sued. If we're successful, we're gonna get sued. I know that. We're prepared for it. Bring it on, right?
Okay.
But so it's gonna be a suit based on the Constitution of the United States, and the Supreme Court is binding authority for us. We're gonna use that case as binding authority. I'm out of time, so thank you so much.
Thank you.